Hey, what's up? Hey, Nightmare, how you doing? How you doing? Did you have a good week? Mine was weird, but it was good. I guess it was okay. Other than that, we're Saturday night. Well, actually, Sunday morning. If you want to get technical. How's everybody else? I don't know who's all in here. Oh, there's four of us now. Well, I'm not in YouTube, so every time I turn on YouTube, it starts to get glitchy. I don't know why it only does it on this stream. Now, I know I have problems. I've seen some of the replays of oracles where I'm a little blurry. But I think if people just go to their settings and hit a better, like go to 1080 or 720, whatever is best. A lot of times, for some reason, some live streams don't set automatically. So, no, he's giving it thumbs up. School breeze. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang out. Like I said, like I always do. I'll wait about 12:30, play the replay. I'm going way back tonight. I'm gonna play her. Second, I'm gonna play the original, her very first Black-Eyed Children stories. It's about 35 minutes long, but it's the first time she talks about black-eyed kids. And this, she calls them black-eyed children. And it's wait till you see her. I mean, a lot of you will remember her then. And then next week I'll play part 2. 3 years old. So that should be good. And there's Aunt Edna. We're going to be doing Black-Eyed Kids tonight. Did you see the background? Here's the background. Some digital fun. Let me get out. Edna, how you doing, Edna? Did you go back and I know you went back and listened to Spooky Time. It was kind of hard. I had a troll at the beginning of it. It was the first time I really sat and tried to tell the stories, so I was constantly distracted. My cousins. I hope everybody is well. It started about 12:30. It's an old one. Like I said, it's the very first Black-Eyed video, so it should be good. I would be in YouTube chat too, but I ain't taking no chances tonight. I'll wait and try when we start the video. Yeah, who else is here? Folks, speak up. Say hello. It's just 2 of you now. Oh, man. Just Edna and Nightmare. Give it a little time. Always do. People come and go at first. A lot of them seem to pop in right at 12:30, watch the video, then they leave, which is fine. I like that. I know you enjoy my stories, and I appreciate that. Next Wednesday should go a lot smoother. I'm now getting the swing of it. I'm just going to have to learn to sometimes block chat out of my head while I talk. And then I have to play catch up, but whatever I say, I just have to talk. But yeah, I'm going to do a lot. I'm just going to keep doing that. I'll have some good stories, maybe some stories, but they're all true encounters, even the ones I tell from other people. I didn't do too bad. Like I said, you know me, I'm got a soft heart. So the girl at the beginning, it was like, I was kind of like trying to be sympathetic, but at the same time, like, man, when you start only using 2 letters, 3-letter sentences, and you start filling up the chat, yeah, it's kind of a problem. If you want attention, go somewhere else. Slow, I think it was Slow or Mike. Somebody was the one that booted them out. Smoochie, hey Smoochie. Nope, nobody said squash yet, but I'm sure someone will during the night. Well, thanks, Edna. I appreciate it. No, I like telling them. I just get nervous sometimes. Sometimes I know I don't talk the best either. But yeah, I like telling them. it's nice to get some of them out because some of them I've never told before. Some of it's happened with me. Hey, Timothy Man, how you doing? Good evening, and a good evening to you too, sir. Yeah, so 12:30, I'll start the vid. Like I said, I'm playing an old one, 3 years old, very first black-eyed kid. It should be good. It'll be a giggle. Wait till you see her hair. And I hadn't gone back and looked at some of these for a while, so it was like I started watching the first 5 minutes of it, and I was like, "Yep, this is the one we're doing." And she pops in, she'll probably yell at me. Now remember, folks, at the beginning of these videos, she's talking stuff that's happened 3 years ago. She rambles good as she never does. So you're up. Slept and relaxed all day. Good. I was kind of go all day. It was weird. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of people who haven't gone back and looked at our past videos in the library or scrolled all the way down. You know, for a treat. Bless her heart. I was kind of a grouch Friday night. Well, I wasn't really a grouch. It was a rough day. I worry about when my daughter heads back home, and that bothers me too. And it was just the women this time. It was just her and mom, and then the kids. And there was bad weather. They said they had some storms that they had to get off the road. Nothing major, just some real doozies. She said it rained so hard one time they couldn't see nothing out the windows. But yeah, they're home. They got home sometime this afternoon, I believe. They stopped for the night because the storms were just warm out. So they stopped for the night, and then they made it home, I think, about 8 or 9 o'clock our time. They're an hour behind, or 2 hours behind. No, they're an hour behind, I think. Maybe 2. Oh, it's mushy. But yeah. So I'm glad she's home now. It takes a little pressure off. Poor Tina has to drive home now by herself. I think she'll have one of my other daughter's kids with her, so she should be okay. She knows to keep checking to everybody. So I got the wiggly, so forgive me. Who else is here tonight, folks? Yeah, there was some other things going on, but life gets, what's life without its ups and downs? You learn from them and you move on. But yeah, it was a rough night. Well, what do you say? I guess everybody's entitled to them. It seems like I have a lot of, well, it didn't help. My body didn't help too. I had tests Monday. They do these electrodes where they shock me in the nervous system and along my nerves, the main points. Usually it hurts maybe 2 days after, really bad, and I have a real bad muscle spasm. It causes a lot of pain. Man, it lasted all week this week. Man, it hurt. I didn't help. But by Friday, I was like done with everything else that was happening. It was like, just stop. I got up Saturday morning this morning. Let's get it on. So that's what I've been trying to do all day. When I really slept for about, by the time I went to bed, it was about 4 o'clock. Woke up really rough, 5. Laid back down again, tried to. Was back up at 6. Then I sat in this chair watching news. Next thing I know, I was asleep. Woke up at 7:30, and I was ghost hunting ghost since. I'm ice and heat. What time we got? We got 7 people. We're getting there, folks. I'll start it here in a little bit. It should be a good one. I'm going to pull it up too, since I'm not in. Oops, that's not the right one, Goofy. There we go. Put it over here. Yeah, this should be a really good one. Blast from the past. 3 years blast past. If you guys want me to start showing some of her like missing person stuff, I can do that too. I'll leave that up to you. Some of it's pretty good. I mean, she's got the bizarre disappearance of Joey Lynn out Offit, and the unaccountable what happened to Clinton Nelson, the death of Andrew Bird. Did his foster mom poison him, or was it something else? Oh, it's okay. I like growing old, Smoochie. I have no problem growing old. I earned all this. Some of it I earned when I was 12 years old. So, hey, it's part of life. And I know about her. I know about her. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? But yeah, so I'm going to cue it up here too while we're sitting here talking. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to get a kick out of this one. So I think she was using her phone at the time. Yeah, she was using her phone at the time. There we go. I'm waiting for you guys to say something. Huh? There's 7 of you in here. Somebody's got something to say, at least until I start the thing. You can tell when I'm wearing a hat. It's because I've been go all day. I got to get some new suits. I got to get a couple of new shirts and some. I got tons of ties. I like to mix it up a little better, but I'm going to have to get some dress shirts until I get rid of the gut. I'm losing weight. I just got to get rid of the gut. That's the hardest part right there. And right now, they're not letting me do too much. Though I tell you, physical workout, if you go to one of my physicals, you get a workout. So I know you're doing good, Smooshy. You're hanging in there, Nightmare. I would say something, but I'm stuffing pizza in my mouth. I was earlier. We had beef tip tonight, smoked and marinated in smoky sauce. It was awesome. Anyways, and then I had leftover pizza just a little bit ago from Friday night. There's Ryan. What's up? I'm not a human, so you can't say that to me. I'm not a nondescript human. I don't think I am. I may look like it, but I'm not. Nightmare, you can call him Ryan. Just say, hey, Cheeto Head. Windy Walker. You can call him Windy Walker, too. Yeah, tri-trip. Yeah, it was great, but I couldn't cook it on the grill. We had been getting slammed with storms all day. And it figures, I get everything in the oven. I cook it. Oh, it turned out excellent, though. The rain stopped. I was like, I don't like eating too late at night. So I try, during the summer, I try to get us at least dinner by 7. Oh, you know, the horror persists, but so do I. Yeah, you do. Yeah, that's funny. We had a. Oh, did you take pictures? Always take pictures of the rainbow. Since they kind of destroyed the meaning of it, it still means something to me. Not what they want it to mean. I love rainbows, and I've seen some pretty cool double deckers, but unfortunately, it will mind pictures. If Yeah, I figured you'd take pictures. We're in here 5 minutes. Man, it stormed here. They started yesterday right after stream. And last Friday night, right after stream. Off and on during the night. And then kind of quiet this morning about noon. Boom, 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 boom for about off and on for about 5 hours. 6 hours. I said, screw it, I'll just cook them inside. Nice downpour earlier. You guys need the rain too. So meditation tonight. There you go. The rain rotates. Watching the grandkids, taught them how to count the miles of the storm. There you go. I think from here to about us, all the way up to you, and then all the way up to the northeast coast, we all need rain. I don't think Maine needs it too bad, but I know. But a lot of you folks will probably see if this hurricane hits Florida the way they're talking, that thing's going to ride right up the coast. You guys will get rain all the way up the coast. Okay. Smoochie, I don't know what that's all about. Debbie. Teach and count the miles. That's how our dad taught us. I saw this picture the other day. It was pretty cool. I swear the end of the rainbow was literally right in front of them. And they took the picture. It was like, dude, you should be standing in there looking for that pot of gold. That's how you count the miles to the storm. Oh, yeah. Okay, 1,000. 100. I always count it 1,000. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm in one of those moods. You have to forgive me. In a what up mood. Whatever's up, up. Yeah, we're going to start here in a minute, too. We're at 12:23. I'll give it a couple minutes. We'll get this baby going because it's 35 minutes long, so about a half hour long. Not even that. She talks pretty fast. You figure probably out of that half hour, probably the first 5 minutes of it, at least the first 3 or 4 minutes is her rambling, and then the last 4 to 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes is her rambling. So I'll probably cut it off pretty much toward that. Oh, I've had this for a while, dude. I've worn this many times. Yes. I don't have too many hats. Believe it or not, I really don't. If you see me wearing a hat, it's just because I don't want to deal with my hair. Yes, I know, Smoochie, it is. I think you're a flat earther. Are you a flat earther, Smoochie? I'm just curious. I don't want to, because that's an interesting conversation, but everybody has their take. I always say 1,000. That's always what I've done. 1,000, 1,000. I studied there. Yes, I'm looking for the curve. Destroyed everything. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to yell. No, don't do that. Batman's trying to get away. Thank you. I'm going to change my room back around. I don't like the setup. I'm due for a change anyway. So you guys are going to see everything get twisted around again. Let's do this before I start looking like a fool. Okay. 36. We're going to start this sucker. This is 3 years old. It's Black Eyed Kids stories. Her, once again, she's recorded this on her iPhone or on her phone. It's pretty obvious. So it's 3 years old. So just remember, a lot of the stuff she talks about is did. So, and I look kind of woofy tonight. And here we go. I got to get you in there first. Jumped the gun, didn't I? I'm still nervous about doing shows on your own. Yeah, I do get a little nervous sometimes. I always do a little bit. It's just me. I always have. I just look at me now. I mean, who would want to look at this? So, but I'm grateful you guys all come in and hang out. I really do. I appreciate it. So let's get this video going. Let me get her in here. There we go. That's big. That looks good. That look all right, folks. Let me do this. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. We'll put that back bigger. There we go. Everybody see that all right? This is old too. Folks, here we go. If you let me know if you can hear everything okay. I think I got everything turned up. And here we go. Yeah, this, like I said, this is 3 years old, so a lot of the stuff she talks about is old. So yeah, this is like the very first time she talks on her own about Black Eyed Kids. So once again, here we go. If it will load, it better load. It didn't have problems earlier. Let me do.
To cover this story today is because it's actually funny. It's something that's always scared me. I've mentioned it to you guys before.
And please, this is an older one, so please let me know if you can hear her okay, all right?
When I did my first paranormal story video, it's the Black Eyed Kids. I was with my sister the other day and I had mentioned them and she had never heard of them. So I told her that I would cover them next. I can't even express to you how much the BEK or Black Eyed Kids or Black Eyed Children phenomenon really freaks me out. Because I have no personal experience with them, thank God, I'm going to read stories that I found on Reddit, the creepiest ones that I found. But first, let's talk about what the BEK are. And we'll start with the first story that brought them kind of into the modern urban legend or paranormal phenomenon entity in the internet age, because I've read stories going as far back as the early 1800s and possibly one from the 1500s. Unfortunately, I can't find it. I started researching this back in like 2015 when I saw Brian Bethel's story on Monsters and Mysteries in America, and it really freaked me out. And I read everything I could find on them on the internet, but I can't find half of it anymore now. So let's talk about what they are. So in almost every story, the Black Eyed Kids are described as between the ages of like 5 or 6 and 17 years old. Usually they're in groups of 2. They're hardly ever alone. Normally they're dressed in like old-fashioned clothes, or they'll be dressed in what modern day teenagers and little kids wear, but the clothes would be like really tattered. A lot of people describe them as their speech is just off. It's a little bit robotic. It has no inflection to it. It's creepy. They can look at each other and seem like they're communicating non-verbally, telepathically. They always make some kind of request that, in my opinion, plays on human emotion. Like if they have a younger black-eyed kid with them, that one will sit there looking all sad face and they'll say, please, can my little brother or my little sister come use the bathroom? Or we're lost. We need to call our mom. Another thing that's associated with these kids is that before they even knock on the door, most of the time, the victim or the person that they're going to be knocking for is overwhelmed and overcome with this kind of visceral, animalistic, basic human instinct of fear and dread. Some of them don't even want to answer the door. The children have been known to talk through the door. I've heard that they've asked to use a telegraph before. So let's get started with the one story, the one encounter that almost anyone who's read about the BEKs knows, right? It started in Abilene, Texas, and it happened to Brian Bethel. So this happened on January 16th, 1998 in Abilene, Texas. Brian Bethel went to a Dropbox to pay his internet bill, and on the way, he stopped at the Dollar Movie Theater next to his service provider's building because he wanted to use the glow of the marquee to be able to read when he filled out his check to drop in the Dropbox to pay his bill. As he did this, there was a knock on the driver's side window, and when he looked up, he saw two young boys. He placed them between about 10 and 14 years old, and this is how he described them. Quote, boy number one was slightly larger than his tall companion, wearing a pullover hooded shirt with a sort of gray checked pattern in jeans. I couldn't see his shoes. His skin was olive colored and had curly, medium length brown hair. He exuded an air of quiet confidence. End quote. Boy number two, quote, had pale skin with a trace of freckles. His primary characteristic seemed to be looking around nervously. He was dressed in a similar manner to his companion, but his pullover was a light green color. His hair was a sort of pale orange. They didn't appear to be related, at least not directly. End quote. So that's one thing about the black eyed kids. They also have pale, kind of plastic looking skin. So Brian said almost immediately he knew something was wrong because he felt this overwhelming sense of fear and dread. And all the kid did was knock on the window. As soon as he looked up, all he saw was two, young teenage boys. Why is he feeling this kind of visceral fear? The boys said to Brian Bethel that they needed his help. They wanted to see the new Mortal Kombat movie, but they had left their money at home, and would he please give them a ride to go and retrieve it? Brian was nervous and hesitant, but the first boy seemed so confident and tried to coax him by saying things like, quote, come on, mister, we just want to go to our house, and we're just two little boys, end quote. Quote, come on, mister, let us in. We can't get into your car until you do, Just let us in and we'll be gone before you know it. We'll go to our mother's house, end quote. So creepy. Brian said that as he was about to start denying the request, his hand was slowly creeping toward the lock on his car door to unlock it and open it for the kids to get in. Even though he was very sure and very clear, even at this point, he was not giving them a ride. He was not letting them into his car. He said he found himself unlocking the door without even meaning to do so, and he felt kind of like he was being, quote, instructed, end quote, by the more confident child that was doing the talking, almost like it was some kind of mind control on him. After catching his hand, going to unlock the door, he kind of pulls it back and he looks up, and that's when he sees the kid's eyes were solid black. No sclera, no iris, no pupil, just solid black. Just as with Brian Bethel's encounter, almost every encounter with the BEK states that once you realize their eyes are black, that's when things start getting really dangerous because they know you saw them. And now they know they're probably not getting in. Brian said the second boy continued to stand there completely silent and looking around nervously, while the first boy actually threatened him and said, quote, we won't hurt you. You have to let us in. We don't have a gun, end quote. According to Bethel, he felt like the boy was implying that they didn't need a gun. He started pulling at the door, the kid did, and demanding to be let in, banging on the screen. Brian had noticed that the last showing of Mortal Kombat was just about to end in about 15 minutes, so he knew this was a lie, even if these kids weren't creepy and didn't have totally full black eyes. He sped away, took off, and he said when he glanced in his rearview mirror, there was nobody in the parking lot. So essentially, they had disappeared into thin air. That story is what got me started on BEK phenomenon. Before we go into theories, obviously, let's talk about just a few of the hundreds or maybe even thousands of stories that I've since found on the internet. The title of this encounter is called Midnight Caller. The woman says it felt like a dream. She woke up to her dog, Lucy, who they'd only had for 3 months and was still a puppy, barking upright on the bed where her husband and her 22-month-old daughter were also sleeping with her. And Lucy was barking at the door like there was some kind of intruder or stranger outside of the bedroom door rummaging around or something. The woman thought that the puppy was just freaking out over some kind of house noise or something because they did only have her for 3 months. She was a puppy. So the woman thought the best thing to do was to open the door and show the dog that nobody was there. She said this is what she did with her 22-month-old, so why not try it with, I guess, a baby or toddler dog as well? But she said as soon as she opened the bedroom door, the puppy hauled butt out right to the front door. And not only did she run as fast as she could to the front door, she started growling and just violently shaking, hair standing up, and just going nuts at the front door. So the woman still thinks at this point that the dog is hearing something that she can't hear, some kind of weird house noise or outside animal or something. So she's kind of frustrated and she's like, ugh, let me just open the door and show the dog that there's no one there. She said the second she reached her hand for the deadbolt, the dog went crazy. She started barking, jumping towards the woman's hand, trying to knock the woman's hand off the deadbolt, apparently. When she touched the metal of the door, like to open it, the dog's temper completely changed. She whimpered like she was afraid, like she was backing down. She no longer had that piss and vinegar in her ready to attack. The dog was now scared when the woman went to turn the handle to open the door. The woman said seeing this happen to her dog made her whole temperament change too, because now she was afraid to open the door. Like, what could be scaring her dog like this? And she just had this innate sense of just fear and dread, and the hairs on her arm were standing up, and she didn't understand why. Why did she have this reaction? Her dog was just acting like a regular puppy, hearing a strange noise. She decided to look through the peephole for some reason. She doesn't know. She said she can't explain why she did it, but she looked through the peephole and she saw two kids standing there outside her door. And this was the middle of the night. The woman then goes on to state that she's 21 years old, and the first girl that she saw standing at the door looked to be about 17 years old, so not much younger than her. And she was slender and pale. Her hair was like honey blonde. She had blunt bangs and it was really long. Her bangs covered most of her eyes. She wore a popular light wash shade of jeans and a thin looking olive colored pullover hoodie, which a lot of them do wear hoodies. But like I said, the clothes are normally raggedy and they're either super old fashioned or in with the times. There's like no happy medium. So, anyways, this woman, she said the older girl was holding the hand of a smaller girl who looked to be about 3 or 4 years old. The smaller girl had the same style of jeans, but she had an ivory colored button down cardigan. She said this all the smaller one could do, seemed to be doing, was looking at the floor shyly. She wouldn't really look up, but it struck her as odd for some reason. And again, she didn't know why she had this feeling. The little one was holding the same exact doll that her toddler daughter had. She said if not for the feeling of overwhelming dread and fear that overtook her, she would have probably invited these kids in for a cup of tea or hot cocoa or something to get them out of the bitter cold because she said it was really cold at this point, but something about them just really seemed off to her and she couldn't pinpoint what it was. At that point, she hadn't made any noise. She hadn't shushed the dog, and the dog hadn't made any noise since it whimpered and backed down either. So, since before she looked through the peephole, the dog was completely quiet. She hadn't turned on any lights. There was literally nothing to indicate to the kids outside that she was standing there. But then, in a mature, confident, strong, and accentless voice, the older one spoke. She still held her head tilted downward, and the woman still couldn't see her eyes. She said, quote, "We have to use your phone," end quote. The woman stood frozen in fear because she was wondering how the little girl or this girl knew that she was there. Again, she hadn't given any indication that she was standing behind the door. For all these people know that were outside, these kids, it could have just been the dog. Then the girl raises her head to face the woman directly and looks back through the peephole, basically. And then she realized, the woman, why she couldn't see the girl's eyes before. And it was because they were black, extremely black, ink black, soulless black. She said they were otherworldly. And the girl spoke again and said, "Our mother is worried." The woman said she'd always been interested in creepy stories and paranormal entities and horror movies and all that kind of stuff throughout her entire life. So she knew right away what this thing was, what these things outside of her door were. She knew about the black eyed kids. She said, although she knew what they were because she had heard about them, she never believed in them. She was a skeptic. She was an absolute atheist, but she couldn't believe it because she always thought it was some kind of urban legend. She said there was no way she could rationalize it. She was standing with a thin wooden door between her and black eyed children. She said there was no questioning what was right in front of her. She knew it in like the depths of her being, just like she knew the children were wrong, just like she knew this overwhelming dread and fear she was feeling out of nowhere. She decided not to answer the door. She said she just slowly backed away and she wasn't going to answer the door for anything. She said she was as quiet as she could be, and her dog Lucy was still cowering at her ankles, but was also completely silent. And that's when the older girl spoke up again. She kept talking, "Just let us in to use your phone." With each step backwards from the door, the woman said the girl's tone changed and began to get more aggressive and dangerous and angry. At first, the girl was polite in the beginning when she first spoke, but the second step back, she became commanding and hostile. "We're not going to hurt you. If we wanted to do that, we would have broken in. I'll ask again. May we come in and use your phone?" Lucy snarled at the door, and the woman inched backwards. There was something inside of her, she said, seemed to be slowly pulling her back towards the door to open it. Even though she physically and in her mind was backing away, something was trying to compel her to go towards the door. She had to fight it off as though it were instinct to open this door for these kids. She said it wasn't like a physical pulling, but it was like a subconscious need to go back and let these kids into her house. She said finally she backed up all the way, went back to her room. She covered the window. She locked the door. She sat there in the dim light of a night light because she didn't want to wake up her toddler and her husband, who were still sleeping and had slept through this whole thing. She heard the girl call back one more time and then she didn't hear anything. She said she was terrified to go back to sleep that night. And she said she hasn't slept right since. She said that she knew that they couldn't come in without permission. So that was the one thing that kind of helped her keep her sanity. She also said she knows they haven't hurt anyone, which we don't really know that because I don't believe the stories of the people who say that they have let them in, but we'll get to that later when we talk about theories or letting them in. But according to her, she knew haven't hurt anyone, but she feared that maybe she'd be the first one. Maybe she'd be the exception to that. Definitely, I don't blame her. She says she has this lingering feeling of sadness and extreme dread every single night because she fears a knock at the door. She no longer feels safe in her own home, but her husband keeps telling her to forget it. He doesn't believe her. And that's the end of the story of Midnight Caller. Let's go for one or two more of these guys. This is fun. This story really creeped me out too, because it totally sounds like just something a regular teenager would do. And it just scares me. I don't even like being in my car alone when Ray or whoever I'm with runs into a store anymore, because this one happened in the middle of the day. It's called You Must Let Me In. It says this happened on March 17th, 2008. This person had their one and only experience with a black-eyed kid. They had never heard of anything having to do with black-eyed kids because they were only 12 years old. the person was sitting outside the hairdressers where their mother was getting her hair done in an old Chevy pickup. And they were just kind of bebopping around, kind of bored, sitting there chilling, waiting for their mom. After about 15 minutes of sitting there, this 12-year-old kid, it doesn't say if it's male or female, saw another kid that looked to be about their age walking, pacing back and forth in front of the pickup truck, just walking back and forth. Doesn't say if this kid was looking in their direction, but I don't think so, because I think what happened right when they made eye contact. This person says they thought they recognized this kid pacing back and forth in front of their truck as a kid that they gone to school with. So they banged on the front windshield to get the kid's attention because, again, they thought it was one of their friends. And that's when the kid that was pacing looked up and looked directly at them. She realized it wasn't anyone that she knew. I'm just going to call her she because it's hard saying there and they. Said at this point she wasn't scared at all. I guess even though the kid looked at her, she didn't see the eyes yet. She said the boy walked over to the passenger side window where she was sitting and just stared into the window. Oh my God, creepy. So she didn't get this overwhelming visceral fear that most people that encounter them get. But I have a feeling that's because she's a kid. And the black-eyed boy that was accosting her at this point was also a kid. So at first, before she saw the eyes, she thought it was just another kid just like her. She said the reason that she thinks this kid was staring the way it was to instill fear in her and show her his eyes, that they were all black, coal black. Again, soulless ink black eyes. She said the boy whispered, "You must let me in." She said she locked the car door and ducked down, like underneath the seat, not caring what she looked like to this kid because she was not taking any chances. She said 5 minutes later, the boy was gone, which lucky her because normally they keep knocking, but I guess this is why he walked off. When her mother got back into the car, she said a boy with some kind of problem with his eyes went into the hairdresser and demanded he hand over her truck keys. She said, of course, she said no. And it ends with, thank God she did. So that's a creepy middle of the day story, right? This one is called No, You Won't Be Calling Anybody. So the writer says this incident took place about 13 years ago from the time this article was published. So I guess that would be about 2005 or 2006. He said he just moved to a new city with his wife. They were small town newlyweds from the Midwest. They moved across the country to one of the biggest cities in the Southwest so he could attend graduate school. They were naive and new to city living, so they habitually answered the door without a second thought. And this is something I talked to my sister about. Like, I told her there's no freaking way I'm answering the door ever. Like, even during the day, like, if I don't know you're coming, you're not getting into my house. And she's the same way. But we were both joking that I was like, Ray, and she was like, her husband are going to just answer the door and be like, oh, sure, come in without even like getting a good look at the kids because they're Mr. Nice Guys, right? He said the first thing that should have tipped him off was someone was knocking when the sun was just coming up at 6 o'clock in the morning, which he said is kind of peculiar, right? He said the second thing that should have dawned on him was this kid had to reach over a really tall patio gate and unlatch it, open it, then come through the yard and then knock on the door. He said it startled him that he and his wife were getting ready for work. It was doing their like normal routine. He said the minute he opened the door, he was overwhelmed by an inexplicable sense of fear. He said to this day, he still remembers every single detail of the teenager. He said he was average height, average build, knee length black leather coat, short black hair, and he was also wearing sunglasses. This is rare in the stories that I've read for them to be wearing sunglasses. He said not only did the sunglasses at 6 in the morning strike him as odd, but the kid was eating an apple, which for some reason he said was just a little bit weird, walking around at dawn eating an apple with sunglasses on. Okay. He said the kid was really polite, but he asked if he can come inside and warm up. The guy was like, no. He said not only did he close the door, but he slid the security chain in place because he had that overwhelming dread sense that everyone seems to get. He said about a minute later he heard another knock, so he opened the door immediately with the chain still on it and didn't even let the kid ask again. He said he just yelled, no, and slammed the door in the kid's face, which at this point, I probably would have done that too. Then again, I knew what I would know what I'm dealing with. He said before the door could shut, though, the kid just stuck his hand like at it and stopped it from slamming. So it kind of just moved on the hinges. And he said the kid looked directly in his eyes, still wearing the sunglasses, and said, quote, "Can I at least get some ketchup for my apple?" End quote. And the guy replied, F that. And he said he was a little confused and he told the kid, "Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. My wife is calling the police." He said the kid seemed to take a minute to like think that over, to let it sink in what the guy had said to him. And then he lowered his glasses and he said, "No, you won't be calling anybody." He said at that moment, he slammed the door, not caring about the kid's hand being there, locked it, made sure the chain was tight, and went to find his wife, who was cowering in the other room, scared crapless, in the bedroom. He said he was all jacked up on adrenaline and he went to the window by the door and ripped the curtains open to look for this kid because now he's like pissed off because I guess the fear kind of went away because obviously the kid left because he said there was no sign of the kid in sight. The gate was still latched from the inside, but there was a half eaten apple laying on the floor. This story, the apple part of it, I wasn't sure like if that made me disbelieve it a little bit. Like to me, that sounded too storytelling ish. I want to read some more Black Eyed Kids stories. I'd like to just read them instead of kind of explaining it in my own way. I don't know which you guys would prefer, but that's it on stories. There are so many more. I think I'm going to do a part two, maybe around Halloween, and try to make it a bit spookier. I just really wanted my sister to hear about this, and you guys too, because if someone comes knocking in the middle of the night, don't answer that door. Another story I heard about that I'm not going to be reading, but I'm going to be doing from memory because it stuck with me. It's a very short one. A photographer was out in really, really deep woods, like missing 411 type woods in one of the national parks, and she was all alone and she was taking pictures. And she said in her lens, out of nowhere, she was looking, it was clear, and then she blinked. And when she opened her eyes, there was a little kid with all black eyes staring directly into her lens that said, "We don't like photo takers." Creepy, right? And then there was one more that just demonstrates to me that there really is something wrong. And these kids are, I believe, a part of me believes there's some kind of ancient kind of evil within them. I mean, I have a ton of theories, which I'm about to discuss, but I want to tell this story quickly. So, this guy was a soldier on an army base in Fort Hood, Texas. This is another one that takes place during the day, even though, believe me, guys, even though I've told two of those stories, most of them, the majority of them do take place in the middle of the night and usually when you're alone. So, this guy's unloading groceries and putting them kind of on his front stoop from his car so he can like carry them in. He said he had a pit bull puppy that every time he would put his key in the door to open it in his home door, the puppy would come running to the door to jump on him. So he said that he heard the puppy come running, and then all of a sudden, when he opened the door, he saw the puppy look behind him and kind of Scooby Doo, stop, fall over itself, and yelp, whimper, and run back into his room, which later he found was under his bed. It went under his bed. He said the dog's never been the same, but he turns around to see what the dog saw, and he jumps because he sees this little kid dressed in old fashioned clothing, like from the 1940s. And the kid looks from him and he sees the black eyes, and before he can even get anything else out, the kid said, he looks at the groceries and then back at him, then to the groceries and back at the guy, and he says, "Is it food time? Can I come in now for food time? Let me in your house, I'm hungry." So that's it on the stories for real this time. And I just want to say, while there are several stories out there, or at least 3 or 4, where people claim to have let them in and they ended up being sick, or I'm not sure I believe those stories. They just sound, I don't know if it's the way they're written. I just don't believe that. I don't know what I believe happens if you let them in, but I don't think it's that you get a nosebleed and possibly cancer. I do believe in the story of the woman who was driving and her kid was in the back seat with the BEK, but this video is already going to be kind of long enough and I've made a lot of mistakes and I'm going to have to edit it, so I want to get into theories. The first theory I want to talk about is one that I'm going to read. I'm going to tell you where I got it from because I just found it today. I'd never heard of it before. So here it is. And this is coming from Rare Life Black Eyed Kids online. It's an article about the black eyed children. So it says they've come across this theory of what these kids are from a book called Your Haunted Lives, The Black Eyed Kids. And I'm going to read. According to this legend, the kids may be something called Atkan, spoken of in ancient Iroquois Indian legends. Quote, the Iroquois Indians believed in a dark power called the Atkan that could take over children and an evil one who would mate with human females to produce black-eyed, chalky-skinned children. These children were killed by the tribe soon after birth and burned to stop them from resurrecting. Children wandering alone in the woods could also be taken over by Atkan and would reemerge with black eyes and pale skin, acting nervously while repeating themselves over and over. Their goal was to destroy the tribe and infect all of the people with Atkan. End quote. Repeating themselves, just like the BEKs. Can we use your phone? Let us in to use your phone. Let us in. Let us in. Kind of like my toddler when he wants an extra bag of fruit snacks. So, while I take everything I see on the internet with a grain of salt, you guys know I love paranormal stories and paranormal phenomenon and all of that kinds of stuff. Ghosts, hauntings, BEKs are my favorite. Men in Black, I'm going to do those sometime soon. I want to talk about some theories that I'd come across and a couple that I thought that I had come up with, but then I read them somewhere else. So I guess I'm not that unique or that imaginative for that matter. Sorry, I just vaped. Gotta edit that out. Okay, so I hear sometimes that they believe that the black eyed kids, people believe that the black eyed kids are somehow associated with the men in black, but I don't know what the connection is except the word black in the name. And they might be otherworldly beings, but I don't think one has to do with the other. And when we talk about the men in black, maybe we'll get a little bit more into this, but I'm just going over some theories that I've heard. Also, what I was thinking was all of these missing children throughout the decades and the centuries that have disappeared without a trace. Could it be possible that maybe that legend I just read or something else is turning these missing kids into black eyed kids and they're not actually disappearing into thin air? I also, what goes along with this is think that the black eyed kids are interdimensional beings, that they're coming from some place that's otherworldly, that's from another dimension, that's other, because obviously they're not from here. I don't believe that they're demons. That's been another thing that's come up. But could these be all these missing kids in the world? I just don't know, guys, but that's a really creepy thought to have, right? Like I just said, I don't believe really that they're demons, even though they say that demons will take on the form of a child to kind of put a person at ease when they come to the person to try to possess and take over the child, but they come as innocent looking as possible, not as these black-eyed, dangerous feeling kids, right? Another theory going around is that the black-eyed kids are the product of alien abductions. You know how their eyes kind of are described just like the alien Grey's eyes are, and that the people people that they're visiting, either knowingly or unknowingly, have been abducted by the Greys, by aliens. And these are their children. They're a human alien hybrid, and they're being sent back to their human parent for whatever reason. I don't know, guys. I hope this was creepy enough for you. I know I'm really not good with the creep factor yet. Wait till you guys see me film at my sister's house, though. This one was for my sister Carol, but I hope you all enjoyed it. You'll see me Saturday for either a personal story or addiction and recovery, and Sunday for whichever one I didn't cover then. I'm trying to do 3 videos a week. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, my subscriber base is really growing. I owe a huge thank to my friend Keith for that, but also all of you for constantly supporting me. You really like the personal story, and that came from my heart. That was something that happened to me that I've never forgotten, but it's been a lot easier since I was able to get it off of my chest. So, guys, what do you think of the BEK? What do you think they are? And if you think it's contact lenses, then number one, you should know that contact lenses didn't exist in the 1800s or even the 1500s when the earliest recorded story happened. And in the 1990s, they were super expensive for young kids to just run around having. It's not like all of these encounters were on Halloween. Also, they're extremely uncomfortable from what I hear. Let's get some interaction in the comments. Let me know what you think. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any constructive criticism for me or any suggestions on what I can do better next time, if you're a regular subscriber, you know that right now I have webcam issues, which is why I'm using my iPhone and why I don't have a background set up because of the length instead of the width for my filming. But on things like anything else, really, tell me. I'm open to suggestions. I responded to all the comments I saw today, and I also responded to any emails. To anyone I was emailing with, if you didn't get back to me, please do so. I was really enjoying having conversations with you guys. Have your best day. Be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. And I'll see you this weekend, Lord willing. Mwah. Bye.
Give me one sec. There we go. Okay, cool. That was funny. That was old. I did. When like I said, I watched a little bit at the beginning. I'm going, yeah, I'm showing this one. This one's like 3 years old. Hi, Stevie. I hope you're having a good night. I'm sure. I was gonna say, I'm sure Mox is close. So yeah, I've been like super busy. I feel bad because I have to go. I've been liking and watching. I don't always leave comments because I leave so many. I like commenting on the newer people though because that helps them grow. You guys get talking on those shows though, man. It's amazing. Yeah, Ron, I'll show her second one if you want me to. There is a part 2. Like a week after this one, I think. And it's I can do that. I can play that next Saturday if you want me to. That's not a problem. I have a funny feeling she was watching these. I can only imagine what she was saying. Yeah, it's been crazy. I'm the same way. Yeah, you guys amaze me because you guys really do gab it up. But it's nice because you got other people with you. But mine, I just pretty much let you guys come in here on Wednesdays. And Wednesdays, not so much. I'm trying to tell stories now on Wednesday nights. I made it spooky time with me. So, and I've been telling my encounters with all my spooky, goofy stuff. And some other people's that I've learned over the years, listening to truck drivers and people in diners in small towns. There's always good stories. Paramedics. I had an uncle who was an officer down in Chillicothe. He has some really good stories. Then I have folk that are hill folk, so there's always the talk of the little folk. And so Wednesday night's going to be spooky time. I'm just going to tell encounters. I tried for the first time last week. It was a little, but they say I didn't do too bad, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, these black-eyed kids, these are like the first, I believe, because see, this is like, hold on. That it right there? Yes. Okay, 1 second. Let me go back here. Videos. She deleted a lot of that older stuff, the hot topics and the stuff that she was doing for addiction help. She had to delete a lot of those. So this is like the very beginning. That video was like from her very beginnings. She has a bunch of that's what she originally was doing, the missing and 401s and missing person stories. And if you guys do want me to do some of those, let me know and I'll replay some of those older ones. I've asked her to kind of, if she can go back and look them up and see if there's been any changes in their stories. That's going to probably, some of these stories come and go so fast and get forgotten about so fast. On her library, that black-eyed kid video we just watched is her 4th video, depending on which way you count it. Pretty much the 4th video from the beginning. So get rid of that. There we go. I always say everybody has a story to tell. Yeah, they do. I agree with you, Stevie. There are a lot of people out there. And it's amazing because there's probably all kinds of untapped, just crazy encounters and stuff that nobody will probably ever know or hear. Some more missing 111 like her old style. Yeah, some of these are really old. So you just like you watched here, they're like that. And then she did a few more after it. And then she did, because that was really what she started at. It was missing persons, unsolved mysteries, stuff like that. So I can do some of those for replay if you want me to. I was sticking to the paranormal stuff. But if you guys want me to play some of that old stuff, I sure can. I'd be more than happy to. And next week, what I'll do, Ron, is I'll play part 2 to this next Saturday. And then the following Saturday, I'll play one of her missing person ones. I like those too. Because it was funny because when YouTube kind of hinted to her that doing the addiction videos wasn't cutting it, she switched over to doing the missing person stuff. And I really liked a lot of that. And then she started talking about her own stuff from being around Steve and all them. Stockton. And I think little man was just a tiny little baby then. I think she called him a toddler, so maybe 2 or 3. I'll have to ask her. But I hope everybody's having a good week, though. Weekend, I should say. It's Sunday now, folks. We can all chill before we head back to the old grindstone Monday, for those who have to return to work Monday. And today and tomorrow are my easy days. Who's getting rain now? Because we've got clear blue skies here. The 411 stories are always, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Well, she didn't just do 411s, too. She did just missing. Unsolved murders or doing ends and stuff like that, too. And I love that stuff. But yeah, the 411s. I was wondering when somebody would finally write a book about all of those. Because that's a lot. There's a lot. There is a ton. I think Paralysis will tell you there's a lot of them. So many you can't even count. Ron. 69 there. It's it's 69 here too. Where you at, Ron? I think you told me once before. But it's 69 here too. That's funny. Yeah, it's muggy though. It's a really muggy 69 here. Hey, Stevie, are you going to be watching for those that storm coming in? You probably get slammed in a lot of rain. What, Monday or Tuesday? I don't know what side of the coast you're on there. But you got it heading for you. Here we are hunkering down for the tropic storm. Yeah, actually they're saying it may be a hurricane right before it hits the coast. So yeah, please batten down. Possible, yeah, Cat 1. And they're saying that won't be strong, but still all that rain, man, it's a ton of water. So be safe. Yeah, I keep an eye on us. I'm a kind of weather geek. I'm sure you got to be down there. I have family down there. My little brother's exes and his kids are down there. They're down around, I believe, Clearwater. They live around Clearwater, I believe. We live in the lake. You lived in the lake. Little rain there for you. No, it's nice here, dude. We got clear blue skies on the lake. I was going to ask Stevie if you were the lady in the lake. I was talking from a friend from Mississippi today. She has never heard about Dogman. Are you serious? No, you know, I've talked to people too like that that's never heard of Dogman. I was talking to a person at the carryout or at the gas station, and they were talking about Bigfoot, and I go, have you ever heard of a pale crawler? And they both looked at me like I was a freak. What? Is it a pale crawler? You'll know when you see one. I knew it. Stevie B is the lady in the lake. Isn't she, though? She's the lady in the lake. That explains so much. Now, you'd be surprised, Ryan, how many people haven't heard about Dogman. Yeah, you guys are supposed to get a ton of rain, Stevie. I'm thinking you just batten down the hatches is an understatement. But then again, it's supposed to ride right up the coast. They're saying it goes off the other side of the coast, then jacks back in there around South Carolina, and then just rides up the coast. So all those people are going to get a ton of rain. They're saying, from what I've been seeing, around northern mid Florida all the way up to about Louisiana, almost top of Georgia into Tennessee, and then everything over and then along, North and South and North Carolina, Virginia, and all that is supposed to get rain all the way up that coast, Jersey, and then shoot back off around. I think they said Maine, somewhere around there. Yeah, Ryan killed me. I was going to say, think about that, Dogman. It does sound kind of cartoony, sure. Comic booky, sure. Said it's a cryptid, and she said, what's that? So she knows about, and she probably didn't realize that Bigfoot's listed as a cryptid. She probably never even heard the word cryptid before. So there's a lot of people out there like that. We have looking like the northeast side of the storm is going to hit us. They are pretty sure it's going to hit land at the bend of the, really, at the Panhandle? Yeah, I saw that right in there. Yeah. That was why I just watched the weather before I came on here. Yeah, so it should be, and it's that, and by the way it is that once they go over land, they tend to slow down a little bit before they start to pick up steam, and that's a lot of rain. That's a lot of rain, and it's been raining down in that your whole area for how long? Off and on for now? How long? How many dry days have you actually had? Actually, you probably have had quite a few, because you guys are actually better off than we are. We're considered in drought, believe it or not. You wouldn't know it after the rains we got today, but even the rains we got today, they were like half hour, 45-minute storms. It'd go through, be gone, and then 20 minutes later, another one come in. I'm still convinced that Moggs is secretly Ace Frehley in disguise. The winds, you might, but as if it's Cat 1, that sounds right, 45, 50 mile an hour winds, topping off at maybe 60, 65. Winds and all the rain, that's what we're going to get. Yeah. That's funny. He doesn't let that go. Stevie B, he's not going to let that go, the Ace Frehley thing go. If you know Eric from Paranormal Highway, there's a lady that says she swears he looks like Sven Gulli, the horror show host. He does kind of. And gave up on us. It's funny. That's why I don't let up on him about the Cheetos. Stevie B, Ryan has some kind of Cheeto fetish. He likes to share them with Wendigos and skinwalkers. They hide in corners and eat them. It's a strange man. Me and Gemma have to steal his Cheetos to keep him busy. I'm listening. That's what bothers me, Ed. They're too quiet. Leave my Cheetos alone. Yeah. You have to worry when Edna gets quiet. I'm surprised Mike J. But I feel bad for Mike J. He really liked these streams, and he can't come right now because he's working third shift. He switched over to third shift. I'm sure he's off, so I'm sure he's out having fun because they'll get 3-day weekends now. But he had to switch to third shift, I believe. Or second shift, something like that. I think it's third shift. When I get quiet, watch out. Yep. What's more dangerous, Dogman or a werewolf? Which cryptid gives me more chance to survive? Neither one of them really. Well, I would think Dogman you'd have a better chance to survive with Dogman, since there are supposedly attacks. I would, because a werewolf is just a bloodthirsty creature. It's gonna go for you if it's hungry or not. That's part of the lore, I believe. Well, that's what I was always told. I don't know. He may be working too, Ryan. Juan might be working. I got to email him. I got his email, so I'll probably email him. I got to email him and let him know about Thursday. Now, Pixie's this Thursday. Are you going to go on with me on the following Thursday? Let me know. It's still 2 weeks away. And then, like I said, Tuesday Talk won't be coming back until the second week of September. I might as well run down the run though. Oh, also remember, Gemma's new book's out. So, folks, if you haven't got her new book, check it out. Gone, Volume 3. All the links are in the description box. Please check it out. Cool. Okay, thanks, Ryan. We can do 2 topics. When Gemma comes back, we can do 2 topics a week. Do one Tuesday and then do another one on Wednesday, Thursday. And we can get some guests on for her too. That'd be awesome too. Yeah, see, that's the same. I don't know, Ryan. I've always been told that werewolves are more of a bloodthirsty. They kill to kill. It's just when they change, they just become evil and bloodthirsty. Where a dog man, I mean, we've heard of attacks. I don't know how many I've really actually seen true footage of or aftermath, but they're not, you know, all those stories are always in the distance. So I was listening to Dennis Carroll, and he says werewolves, yeah, got no chance. Yeah, I don't think you do. I think a werewolf would go after you. Though I have to be careful what I say here, since that's what I think we saw that day at the campfire. But that was a really weird situation. In medieval times, werewolves depicted as positive and protective creatures. Catholicism and modern day religion changed that. That is true. But what were they protective of? Always heard they were vampires, the protectors of vampires and creatures of the night. Not as much as humans as it was their own kind. The Celtic werewolves, their version of Dogman, would help lone travelers and help feed them along their journey. Listen to Mr. Cryptic Lore Guy here. Get out of here, you're too smart, go away. Now, I always thought it was the other way around, but I could be wrong. But there's also been changes in that storyline too over the years. But yeah, that is true too. Why would they want to eat us? They don't want to protect us. Maybe they're just being nice so they can hang out with us so they can eat us later. What could is a real. Good night, Stevie. You have a wonderful one. Good night, Moggs. Hopefully I'll see you Tuesday or Thursday. I'm going to try to make it in. Man, it's just crazy. I'm playing catch up. My 90-year-old pops has got me on the run. Who really knows? But it is definitely some misidentification going on. Some researchers stand firm it was a Gwandy and not a werewolf or dogman. Interesting. Now you're going to always have. Everybody has a different take. And I've always said that it's what you perceive when it comes to these things. Is it good or bad? That's all that matters to me. Is it good or is it bad? Most of it's bad. Oh, the Amish family? Yeah, I have to tell Gemma to tell that one. That's a good story, actually. Lorraine Hunt. Hello, Lorraine. How are you? What's the difference between the three? Hey, Ryan, answer that question because you do a better intellectual job than I do at that. Can you answer that question for her, Ryan? No, I wish you were on here. Give her the rundown. You're the room expert. I can tell you the difference between the dogman and the werewolf, where a werewolf is just a man that changes into or perceives himself as a lichen, which is a werewolf, and changes into it in some form or another, where a dogman is a permanently, it was never human, it was always part human, part animal. I'm glad you're good. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. But that's a good question. Haven't heard that name. I can never say it 'cause, me and my speech. Ryan, you are still here, right? Can you? There you go. Ryan's got your definition. See photo of the beast, the 7 shoots. Yeah. Or bitten. That's pretty much what I said. I guess I could have added that it was bitten or infected in one form or another. Lycanthrope is considered a disease. You go, Ryan. This is when I wish you were on here. Then you could just tell them. You wouldn't have to type it all out. This is why I miss Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I miss Gemma on Tuesday, so I'm glad we stopped Tuesday because I was missing her. You go, Ryan. You go. He's writing a book, Lorraine. So you should check out his book when it comes out too. It should be pretty good. There'll be a read. It will definitely be a good read because I believe your first book is going to be Skinwalkers and Wendigos, or Wendigos and Skinwalkers, or is it going to separate them and do one book of each? I always said incorporate them, make it one, put them together since everybody confuses the two. Put them together. Yeah, he is going to write a book. I believe he's working on one right now. And it should be a really good read. He's the guy. This is why I like Ryan. He says the stuff that I can't say because I do have a lot of problems talking. When I stream, I get a little nervous and I fumble words and get brain farts. So Ryan's my mouth, and I don't even have to tell him what to say because the guy is smarter than I am. Way smarter. The first one is going to be the window. You're not going to incorporate them together so you can tell everybody what the difference is. They keep stop screwing it up. He's writing it now, so give him a little time. I'm sure either we'll announce it here on the site. Gemma's site I'm sure Gemma will help him. And like I said, Gemma's new book is out now too. Gone Volume 3. So check it out. All the links for all her books are in the description. But yeah, Ryan will write. That will be a good book when it comes out. Yeah, I think a lot of people will read it. He's got it down. He's got. Well, see, the interesting thing about him, Lorraine, is he's actually gone and talked to tribes. He's talked to the people. So he's gone directly to the source, as one may say. So a lot of that stuff will be legit. And he's legit anyways. Don't let people fool you. He's got it going on when it comes to the scripted stuff. Like I said, a lot of things he's able to say that I just would fumble and drop too many times. I'm just killer filler for Gemma. It's basically all why she's on break. I think the first book, the Wendigo one, will be called Ravenous, the lore of the mystery behind the horror of the Wendigo. Behind the Wendigo that became the Windy Walker, that became the Skinwalker, that went back to being the Windy Walker, and then back to the Wendigo, that stole all your Cheetos. That's going to be the title. I'm just being goofy now. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's tons of stories in Arizona, New Mexico, probably in Colorado too, Nevada. Along the Mexican border. Because don't the Mexicans have skinwalker stories too down there? And I believe there are some more of something like that too on the South America. Correct me if I'm wrong. Arizona the most probably. Yeah, I was just gonna say Arizona probably got the most. Yeah, Navajo. And while you guys are talking, I raised my children in the Warren County area of New Jersey, and I'm looking for someone to tell a couple of stories that happened to me there. Ryan, is that something you do? Actually, if you want to tell your encounters, Gemma, right here on this channel, you can send them to her. I'm not gonna put her email in the address. She does listener encounters, and Gemma's good with this stuff too. So I'll leave it between you and Ryan. And Ryan will probably tell you the same thing because she actually does listener encounters. So she actually will put it in a video and it will air and she'll upload it. So it's up to you. Yeah, definitely email Gemma. But yeah, but we can talk about them on her show. Yes, when she comes back in September, it'll be the second week of September. She just got to wait till the little guy gets back to school. And we'll be doing Tuesday talk at 1:00 on Tuesdays. So, and that's always a good time to come in and talk and ask questions. And then Pixie's on every other Wednesday at 8. Then we're on the other Wednesday at 8, me and Ryan, for a Thursday night hunt. So you're more than welcome to show up those days. And then Gemma does oracles on Friday at 7:15. I'm the list keeper. So, like I said, I'm just killer filler for her. Just trying to keep channel something running on the channel. Yeah, I'm going to drop that in chat here. In fact, I'll do it now since you're reminding me before you have a killy cow. Here's her email. What did I do that for? No, I can't do this. Let's just do it the right way. My fingers are not working. Trying to go too fast. Okay. There we go. Okay, yeah, there we go. There's her email. Email her. I'll let her know. Oops, I screwed that up. Don't use that. Erase that. Erase that. Get out of the way. Come on. I hate this heart's in the way. I can't. Let me give you the right one. I'm trying to type too fast. It's also in the description too, hon. There we go. Much better. I'll get rid of that old crappy one I screwed up. Crap. There we go. There's the right. I can type better that time. But yeah, email Lorraine. Just email Gemma. Tell her the story. They don't, and she's a writer, so, and she'll pretty much read it as is. And if she likes it, she may ask if she may put it in one of the books. And she does do that too sometimes. So, yeah, send her an email. I'll let her know. I write your name down and let her know, hey, watch for an email from Lorraine Hunt. She's going to have some stories for you or a story for you. But yeah, and it's always nice because the more encounters she gets, the more video listener encounter videos she can make. Those do pretty good for her, and she loves doing them. I love listening to them. You're welcome. You're more than welcome. And come in anytime. And just so you know, I gotta do the rundown anyways. In September, the second week of September, we start back with Tuesday Talk at 1 p.m. here on Gemma's channel. Every Tuesday at 1. Then Wednesday night at midnight, I do Spooky Time with me, where I tell my encounters and stories that I have gathered, people have told me, or my own personal encounters, since I live a strange life. Then Thursdays, alternating. One Thursday's Miss Pixie, Paranormal Pixie. She comes in, does kind of spiritual stuff, talks about crystals and cards and all that. She's there on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Then the following Thursdays will probably be me and Ryan doing Thursday Hunt. In fact, we'll be on not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. And then Friday nights, Oracles with Gemma at 7:15. Show up a little early because she's been starting early. Then Saturday night, like tonight, is Gemma's Replays, where at 12:30, I come in about 12:05. About 12:30, I play one of her videos from her past, because she's got a pretty good library. So we like to go back every so often. I like to go back every so often for fun and play one for everybody. Hang out, chat. Yeah, I am too. I always love hearing new encounters. And if they're good ones, I love them. So that's what I did for a long time, between my own encounters and wherever we went out. When I drove around Ohio, I would pass truck drivers. My dad was a mechanic, so I was constantly asking truck drivers their stories. Semi drivers have great stories. People in diners in small towns have some outrageous stories. And then you get all the old local urban legends too. And then paramedics. I talk to paramedics and police officers. I'm in and out of the hospital off and on sometimes, so I already know how to talk to nurses and doctors about. I see strange stuff all the time in hospitals, so I always talking to nurses and doctors, and they tell me stories. So yeah, the stories are a big thing here. And I'm rambling. What time is it? I even lost track. Oh, it's only 1:30. I'll take it to 2, and if you guys are still around, I'll keep it going for a little bit longer. I got to make sure Edna doesn't stay up too late, or she'll get mad at me and get all grouchy. We don't want that. She's gotten quiet on us again, so, everybody stand back and watch the corners. Yeah, Lorraine, yeah, please, and come visit anytime. Love good folk here. All about telling the goofy stuff and having a little fun at it while we're here. So goes, what's going on tomorrow? Tomorrow's Sunday, probably nothing much. She, I believe, is working all day. So Sundays and Mondays are quiet days until she starts back on her Monday videos. And that will probably start up again. Like I said, she's got big plans for when she comes back in the fall. I mean, when she comes to when she can have time of work and get back to the grindstone. But tomorrow, nothing. Tomorrow, my plans are not much, but working on the house. And probably get the old man out of the house for a while. You got a 91-year-old dad. He gets a little crankety when he sits in the house for too long. So we're going to get him out. I'm trying to stay awake. Yeah, you know how I feel about that, Nightmare. You need to sleep. Get some sleep. I wish I could. Like I said, I'm going to, like every other time, I sign out when I'm done here. I sign out for the night. I'm sick. I have an autoimmune disease, but I want someone to know before I leave this earth that there's 2 that happened to me. and one I was told about when I shared my first one with a lifetime resident. Yes. Yeah, make sure I will make sure that Gemma sees those, okay? And I have written your name down, and I'll let her know to watch for your emails. Yeah, because if you feel that you need to tell the story, then tell it, huh? You ask most people in this room or any of the chats in this Gemma world, they're all going to tell you the same thing. If you got the need to tell it, you should tell it. So tell it. Yeah, I've got some health issues too, hon. So prayers for you. Yeah, you and Pops enjoy some outdoor time. Yeah, we're going to. I want to get him fishing. My older brother's like, you like be careful taking him around those ponds. Except he's not as steady as he used to be. He's a fighter. He won't use a wheelchair. We got him a really nice walker. You know, it folds in. It can be a wheelchair if he needs it be. I can't get him to take with me. But I got to give him credit, man. He just keeps trucking. Bless his heart. All right, you ugly goof. Have a good night. Take it easy. You be blessed too. And I'm sure I'll talk to you between now and someday. Either that or I'll be sneaking in to steal your Cheetos, one of the two. And if I don't get in, I'll send Gemma. You have a good night, Ryan. Give Puppy Dog a pat on the head for me. And you have a wonderful day. Like I said, I'm sure we'll talk between now and some days. Usually, a lot of times it's easier to get a hold of me. I'm just really, my daughter's home, so they're back safely. Now I'll be even happier once Tina gets home back safe. Hey, Bubbly Bison, how you doing? Welcome back. It was good to see you last night. Yeah, we're just hanging out. We just watched the Gemma video. An old one, 3 years old. And Ron, you'll get a kick out of it because like I said, I'll play part 2 next Saturday for you. Yeah, actually, Pop likes being outside. Sometimes he just goes out back and sits on the patio. I mean, it's pretty nice around here. The cemetery brings in a lot of animals. Right now, he's just getting mad at the deer because they're eating everything in sight. He plants flowers. We plant flowers, and they come in and eat them also. Ryan, did you see the nice lady say goodnight to you? You better answer her back. I'll have to beat you up, man. Steal all your Cheetos and take away your Cheeto privileges. I'm just checking. I want to make sure I always like to double check this. I've had people sneak in and go, you didn't say hi. So I always go back and look because I do miss people coming and going. And it's just me by myself. So, and try to keep everything live and hopping. Good boy, Ryan. Good boy. I'll have the puppy dog pat you on the head now. I actually plan on doing a book, but I'm not going to write it. You see, I couldn't do it myself. I probably could, but it'd take me forever. I'm just too hyper, and with the Tourette's, it's just. But I am talking to Gemma about it. I'll probably have Gemma write it for me, and I'll give her all the good stuff. Though my life's been, for somebody that has a weird life, I've had a pretty tame one too. I mean, I can't complain. I know there's a lot of people out there in a lot worse shape than I've ever been. My life was just an average life. 4 brothers, mom and dad. Same problems as everybody else. The little brother was trouble and now is gone. Two older brothers were gone pretty much by the time I started to remember who they were. So, you get to know them over the years. Just like any other average American, low middle class family, as I would say. Dad worked hard. Now, as for me personally, my life's been but it's been fun. I would never change it for a penny. A lot of the stuff, all of my issues is stuff that, I grew up seeing all kinds of crazy stuff and things that follow people that nobody ever believed me. So for years, there was only a couple people, Thomas and Patricia, were the only two people I ever talked to them about. And a couple other friends that were stuck with me watching some of the craziness stuff go down. And I'm going to miss because found out Monday that Thomas is moving to Nebraska, so that sucks. Oh, I don't have a wonderful vibe. No, Gemma's in bed. Gemma has a little one. Saturday night, Wednesday night, and Saturday night, I do midnights. Gemma sometimes pops in, sometimes she doesn't. But I do midnights on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesday night, I do spooky time. Oh, I started it, but usually Wednesday night was chit chat. We just sit around and talk. But now I'm doing spooky time. So you come in, I'll probably be telling my encounters and other folks' encounters that have told me. Then on Saturday night, I do Gemma's replay, where I come on about 12:05. About 12:30, I play one of Gemma's old uploads. And then we just sit around and talk till we all get bored. And then Thursday nights, Pixie's here at 8, so she should be here this Thursday at 8. And then the following Thursday will be me and Ryan for Thursday Night Hunt. And then second week of September, we go back to Tuesday Talk at 1. And then Gemma will be here for that. She will be here for Tuesday Talks at 1. And then, of course, for Oracle readings on Friday night at 7:15. Yeah, I'm going to say a lot because it's always good to push. It's promotion, shameless promotion. It never hurts. Yes, she does have a very wonderful vibe. She's my buddy. We're buddies. We pick on each other. She's my buddy. She's my keeper. She keeps me in the basement and gives me waffle sandwiches, waffle and bacon sandwiches. Maybe with chicken once in a while I get one. If she's nice that day. And thanks, Ron. I don't know if I'm that cool. As he giggles, so it's worth the giggle, isn't it? But yeah, so yeah, Gemma's nights or days are Tuesdays and Fridays. Me and Pixie and Ryan, we just kind of fill in the gaps, keep the channel hopping. Not that streaming's big, we always try to keep something streaming if we can. I seem to be here for most of it, so you'll see me a lot, either in the background and chat, watching things, or in stream with either Ryan or Gemma, or Miss Pixie. Sometimes I pop in with Miss Pixie. Usually in Miss Pixie's streams, I'm just sitting in the back. I run the stream for her and just kind of keep an eye on things for her. So there you go. There's a little bit of a rundown. I don't know how much you got filled in last night when you popped in. Well, Friday night, since it's Monday. And we appreciate you coming in Friday night. That was nice of you, Bison. Appreciate it. You all been to Nevada? Actually, Ryan lives in Arizona. I haven't been to Nevada. I've been pretty much around Ohio and most of the states around Ohio, Florida, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota. That's about as far as I've gone. Now I guess I got to go to Nebraska now once in a while and see a friend of mine. That'll be interesting. Never been to Nebraska. But he moves next week, so I'm going to visit him. But I'll still have Patricia here, so. And I got the family and kids. And old Pop here to keep me hopping. I like cold places. Yeah, I'm a cold guy too. I almost moved to Alaska. I was going to move to Anchorage, just north of Anchorage. Looked, I had a place picked out and everything. Everybody kind of talked me out of it. Hey, Jason Finch. Hello again, and good evening to everyone in chat and with us tonight. And howdy. How are you? How you doing, Jason? And good to you, and good evening to you too, sir. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Well, Saturday. I guess we're saying Sunday now, so it is officially Sunday. I hope you've had a good weekend. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. I'm doing pretty good. We're getting close to the end of the night here, so. But yeah, I'm doing good, just hanging in there, taking care of my pop and doing my thing for Gemma. So 1 second here, I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. Work starts tomorrow, and you have to work on Sundays. Well, tomorrow's Sunday here, but work starts Monday for a lot of people. Yes, unfortunately, they won't let me work, so I miss it. I miss screen print. Saturday, Monday, Tuesday work. Wednesdays, Thursdays off. Well, that's not a bad schedule. Midweek's off. That's not bad. In my youth, I wanted to move to Alaska and become a fisherwoman, but then I found out they consider women bad luck on boats. Yeah, some places do. Yeah, they do. Now I was going to go up there and chill out. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. It was either that or Japan, but I still may get my wish about Japan. Land's cheap there right now. Housing's cheap right now. You can go buy a house, a nice big house for like 32 easy with some chunk of land too. I've been to the Horton Mine. Oh, really? That's a cool place. I've heard a lot of places about that. I bet it is creepy as crap. I'd like to go check that out someday. Friday work offs on Saturday. Cool. Want to have a cabin in Alaska. Actually, it was a nice little place. Like I said, north of Anchorage. I didn't want to be too far away from the city because of my issues. But I had a bear fence and everything, electrical bear fence and everything. But everybody was like pretty much trying to chain me here, so I stayed. Oh, your work schedule got changed? Well, it's like Mike. I feel bad for Mike J, Mr. Behold. He switched over to switched over to midnight shifts. So he's working at, I think, was it? Well, actually, it's like a second shift, midnight shift. He's working from I think he said 3 or 4 to 2, Monday through Thursday, and then they get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. I love that shift. That was perfect because I like to have the 3 days off, even though Friday you pretty much kind of slept half the day away. But Man, once you were up, you had the whole weekend. I hate night shifts. I didn't mind night shifts. Actually, I got to admit, though, when I was younger, I loved night shifts, especially second and third shift. I loved those shifts. But once I started having a family and realized, and then I started working 9 to 5. Well, actually, it was 7 to 3:30. So I left the house before rush hour and got home just as rush hour was starting. So I liked those hours, and it was perfect. And I was like, you could want a better hour. So and then until they made me quit. Yeah, well, a lot of places do offer more money for that night shift. Yes, they do. Ooh. Yeah, I've always wanted to check out a lot of the mines. Did anybody ever find that M bot? It was the M mine that I had that said the front was cut out like an M. That guy disappeared. Went back and looked for it, and then he disappeared. Then they were trying to say his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, or whatever she was. Oh, he probably offed himself. So that was a whole weird situation. Some people are not night worker persons. My problem, see, dude, is I don't sleep. I have a movement form of Tourette's that I've had since I was 2 years old. I feel bad for my mom and dad. I do. And now that I realize over the years how much problems they probably had with me, bless their hearts. Well, I wasn't as bad as my little brother, my 2 older brothers. But when it came to the nonstop motion, yeah, it was probably the nightmare. But yeah, I was always willing to work night shifts. Heck, there was one time I was actually working a day shift and I was working a third shift and sleeping in between, or attempting to sleep in between, for most people who know me. But yeah, I never minded night shifts. But I have to admit, once I got on a day shift, it was so much nicer, especially when you have a family or you've got a set groove going. But when you work, but I also spent my first 15 years in the restaurant business. That was pretty much work whenever I heard about Gemma's channel at the local steakhouse. The guy who worked there was watching one of her videos. Are you serious? Are you really serious? Because if you're telling the truth, I'm going to make sure she sees this in the chat because I know she watches and I know she watches the streams. I will make sure she sees that. That's amazing. Because if you're telling the truth, that is wild. Actually, when our house caught on fire, when we had the house fire, we were living in a hotel. I actually ran into people in the parking lot. They were actually getting ready to leave the hotel, or they were there. They were leaving the next night, and they recognized me from Oracle's. I guess they both watched Oracle, and told me to say hello to her. That they watch. They never come in the chat, but they do watch. And, oh, it was nice. They were nice people. But I think they still watch. In fact, one of them had left a comment, but it was gone. I don't know if it just disappeared. I hate YouTube. They remove comments and everything. It's true. That's wild. I'm just gonna call you Bison, okay? That's wild. You guys have a good. Jason, you have a good night too, and rest well. Try to have a good day at work and be well. And we'll hopefully see you on the flip side. Yes, you too, sir. And thank you for coming in and saying hi and shooting the crap with us for a little bit. We appreciate it. Just have a good day. Enjoy it. When you get off, enjoy your time. Be well. That's funny. I can't get over that. I am going to make sure she sees that because it'll be in chat. What I do is to go back later because I wonder sometimes it shouldn't have a problem. I hate because sometimes YouTube will on replay will pop the chat right after stream, and sometimes they hold it for a while. I don't know why. Well, we know why, but yes, be well. And like I said, thanks for coming in. It's always good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to have to tell Gemma. That's hilarious. Sleepy time for you too. I'm probably going to cut it here anyways. Edna stopped talking, so she must be mad at me in the corner somewhere. So if you come back and watch Edna, you can pick on me later. Yeah, it's 2:01. Got quiet. Usually a good time to shut it down. Unless Edna's in here and some of the other people. But it's been a long week, so I know a lot of people are probably resting. Please have a wonderful night, folks. Bison, thanks for coming in. Jason, thanks for coming in. Ryan, I know you're probably still listening. Lorraine, thanks for coming in. Please send Gemma. I will let Gemma know that you'll be sending her an email, and I'll give her your name so she knows to watch for the email. Nightmare, if he isn't passed out, you have a good one. Mr. Ron, thank you for hanging out with me, sir. I appreciate it so much. Please have a 1-1, folks. Stay lively, stay happy, stay safe. And I will see you all, you wonderful folks. I will tell Gemma you said hello. Like I said, she does watch. So yes, I will. I will make sure that she sees your email, Lorraine. And thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Have a good Sunday. Have a peaceful Sunday if you can. And we'll hopefully see you soon. And Jason, I will tell her. And I'm sure she watches chat too. So she'll know you'll probably be here. She'll come in and either watch. She probably watches a little. Sometimes she watches a little bit at the beginning while she's getting herself ready for bed. And then she does watch the replay. So everybody, I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight because Moggs makes fun of me because I take an hour to say goodnight. So you folks have a wonderful night. Blessings to you all. And I shall see you all on the flip side.